welcome to my reading vlog. Do you notice anything different? Finally, I have my own bookshelf. Kind of. This bookshelf was actually inherited. It's not one that I chose technically. Before I had my own before I had my own bookshelf, me and my husband would share, and he has more books than me, so his predominantly took over this bookshelf. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you about that, but basically, long story short, over the weekend we had a massive sort out of the bedrooms. And I've been saying to my husband for a while, I need my own bookshelf. I need to be able to see where my books are, like my physical TBR. I want to see it. This is semi-permanently, because once we get around to doing the bedrooms, this will change and I'll have like a proper book nook area. I'm going to have it. It's going to be in one of the spare rooms upstairs. It's going to happen. It's going to be a while because we are renovating our whole home at the moment. It's going to be a few years until we get around to do the bedrooms and properly sorting them out. So yes, at the moment, it's fine. I'm happy with it, but at least I can see. This is all my physical TBR. I wanted to do this reading vlog because here's the thing. I'm gonna do something a bit different. I am planning to mood read. Yes, you heard that right, mood read. So how it normally works for me is when I choose my next book, I have a TBR jar. There you go, that's all the books that I plan to read in this little jar. I couldn't tell you how much is in there, maybe about 300 odd, and so I randomly pick it, and that's how I usually choose to read my books. It works quite well for me. I like doing it, it's fun. However, a good example of this, literally today just finished a historical fiction book. I'm not going to go into it because I'll talk about it more in my wrap up, and I was a bit disappointed by it, and it's usually by an author I really like. It just made me think that I really wasn't in the mood to read that as well, and I think that maybe had something to do with it. So I thought, you know what, now I can actually see my physical TBR, like properly see it, because before it was just in boxes and it was just annoying and I didn't know what I had, and I had like a rough idea, but you forget, don't you? You've got so many books. Maybe that's a sign. That's what I'm going to do, and I want to read a physical book because I have a Kindle, but I want to read a physical book. I'm in the mood to read a physical book. It's been a while and I love my Kindle, but sometimes I find myself wanting to read a physical book. I don't know if anyone else who's an e-reader feels this way. I love my Kindle, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, I just want to read a physical book. I thought to choose my next book, we could kind of look through my shelf together and we could have a little look, and I'll show you what I've done. Bearing in mind, like I said, I can't stress this enough, this isn't permanent. It'll just have to do for now. Let's have a look at my shelf together. So I'm going to move the camera so that I'm maybe in front of it. I don't know how to do it. I might just do it like that, so I'm in front of the camera. Hey! I'm just going to show you briefly what it looks like, and then I'm going to try and like choose something. So here is all my rereads that I plan on rereading. These bad boys, which is of course the Twilight Saga, I do often reread those. We have Tattoos of Auschwitz, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Silent Patient, One Day, Midnight Library, we've got Wuthering Heights, we've got the, what are they called, Dream Harbour series here, Gothicana and Crawdads. And I've got my journal there, which is private. It's just my little thing that I, kind of like a diary journal that I sometimes fill out. We've got a book journal, which I will fill out at some point. I'm hoping to start that next year. And then this little book here is like Milk and Mocha. It's like a little comic strip thing that my husband got me because we're really into that. These are more like miscellaneous books here, and this is just like little Cotswold country walks that in-laws got me, but that's just like hidden there because I don't really, yeah, that's not that's just more of like a miscellaneous book. I'm gonna start a thing. I've got a little tiny, it's not much in there, but it's my rereading jar, which is like my TBR jar, but it's for my reread, so I keep that separate. And it's something that I've just started, I'm going to start doing at some point. Every month I'm going to make it a thing where I read at least one reread. Now that isn't my whole reread shelf because I don't have all physical copies, but it's just some of them. And I do like to have physical copies of my rereading shelf, so that hopefully will become a little bit longer. If and when obviously I get more books, I don't really want them stacked here, if you know what I mean. Like I think I'm going to try and move it up, but obviously it might come to the point where I have to do that, so yeah. And then up here, you can't see this, but up on here I've got all of my Christmas books, and because I don't want to display them yet because obviously it's not Christmas. And then I have all my unhaul up there, which I'm going to hide from you because I'm planning to do a video on that. And then this is my second shelf. I'm going to have to like lean down when I speak, and I've colour coded. That's basically how I'm doing this. So this here's all my Jacqueline Wilson and Roald Dahl. So this is like kiddie books here. And then it's basically all of the rest of it is just colour coded. And this is all my physical TBR. I'm not going to go through each and every one. Shelf 2, I'm going to move you down with me. Ooh, that's shelf 3. And then the very bottom shelf, there you go, it's shelf 4. Oh, and there's a picture of me and Andy. In this corner here, This is where all my bookmarks and stuff are. I got like a huge collection of bookmarks, which if you want me to show you, let me know. But I mean, it's not that exciting. These are some graphic novels hidden in here because I can't really display them. This is why I didn't really like this shelf. I don't know if I mentioned this at the start, but it's got like, it kind of doesn't, do you see what I mean? It's like an awkward space here, and like, I don't know if you can see that. It's not a great bookshelf if I'm being honest, but it will do for now. I do like the wooden, I like the wooden bookshelf actually. I do like that. I just don't like the kind of corner, kind of awkward, I don't know if you can see that, like awkward corner here. I don't like that. What do I want to read? What do I want to read? This is probably a better view. So 1, 2, 3, and then you've got the bottom one there. And I don't want to read any rereads because I'm going to do that at some point this month. I don't know, guys. I don't know what I feel like. This is the problem. Do you know what? I am drawn to Kristen Hanna, but I have just read a historical fiction. I think, okay, leave that for now. Broken Country, I kind of want to read because isn't that like literary fiction? I want to say. I'm not in the mood for thriller. I know that much. I don't want to read any more Auschwitz. I feel like I've had my fill of Auschwitz for a while. So maybe, I'm thinking maybe Broken Country. I'm going to leave that out like that for now. This is so weird for me. I never do this. So these are all my blue ones, and then it kind of ends there. So I didn't have many purple ones, and then I've just got obviously pink, and then so I tried to do it the colour of the rainbow, but I don't all have all the colours. And then down here is like a mix, like, so it doesn't have a specific colour, and then white, and then black or grey, whatever. Because I wasn't sure about like this one here, like it's like 2 different colours, like that might be classed as purple, but it's kind of mixed to me. Anyway, I'm digressing. So a Ruth Jones one, I recently gave her a 5-star, but like how I think what's putting me off is how thick that is. Like it's actually quite a thick book, so maybe I'll leave that for now. Also, I'm pretty sure I had 2 copies of this. Where's the other one gone? I swear I had 2 copies of this. This is kind of appealing to me because it's quite short. Abroad in Japan. I think he's British and he goes to Japan for a bit. And by the way, look at that front cover. That is like, that's actually stunning. I have so many blue books for some reason. I really actually don't know. Maybe I do need that to pick it for me. Maybe I do need a TBR jar. I mean, this one down here, maybe that one, Saltwater. I can't remember what it's about. I think it's like an urban book. Like it's kind of modern, contemporary, whatever you want to call it. This is, I know this one's a bit controversial now, but I bought it and I'm reading it. I bought it at full price as well, so I'm bloody reading it. Oh, do you know what, guys? I honestly don't know now. Like, no wonder I need a thing. So it just chooses it for me. Some of these are too big and it's putting me off a little bit. I think I just want something that's not too big, I think. I mean, that... no, that's definitely for... that would be a separate reading log. The Fellowship of the Ring. I'm doing a separate whole thing for that because I've never read those before. Guys, I really don't know. Honestly, I honestly don't know. Oh my gosh. Am I just going to go back to what I said I wouldn't go? Kathy Glass is quite a good one for me, actually, because I... do like those books. I find them really quick and easy to read. Do you feel like reading maybe a Roald Dahl one, like Matilda, or like, but I don't know, I'm not I've just realised actually that should be my unhaul. that's an unhaul one actually, so yeah, I don't know why that's been kept there. That's definitely not to be kept. Oh gosh, I don't know, that looks weird. Hang on, let me just move that up a bit. I think I've chosen Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. It's fairly new. I think it's come out this month. No, not this month. This year, as I'm filming this, 2026. I think it's going to definitely be this one. How do you guys do this? Like, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I feel like I'm going off the system. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm doing something illegal, which obviously I'm not. I love that front cover. I don't know if is it going to focus there. I've heard good things about this. I have heard good things. I don't think I've read from this author before. I usually find out that, oh, I have actually read from this author, but I really don't think I have. The character in here is called Beth. One of the booktubers I watch on here, I can't remember her name. I think she's called The Mood Reader or something, but I'll put her here. She read this and she couldn't stand her. So I don't know. Yeah, or no. I think it's second chance romance, which I say I'm not a fan of. But I loved One Day by David Nichols. So I don't know, what am I on about? I'm going to try it, guys. I'm going to try it. So I shall update you when I read a bit on this and I shall tell you what I think about it. I'm kind of nervous. It feels weird. Oh, I don't know if I like this. I am about 13% of the way through this book. So I'm going to give you my... So literally there. I'm about there. I thought I'd give you my initial thoughts and I will give you a very brief synopsis. Spoiler free, this will be completely spoiler free. I mentioned this in the beginning, but there's a woman called Beth. Yes, Beth. It doesn't actually put me off. I know some people don't like their name in stories, especially if it's like one of the main characters, but I've never really had a problem with that. It is a little bit weird. I'm relating to Beth. I quite like her so far. It's set in England, it's set in the English countryside. It kind of flashes forward and flashes back. It's kind of a bit of a love triangle going on. So we've got Beth, Gabriel and Frank. There are no spoilers in this, but I think Gabriel gets tried for murder. He left because he went to boarding school because his family are quite rich and well off, and I think Beth comes from, I think she's like from a farmer family and she marries a farmer, and this is set in the 60s, but there's a lot of kind of like flash forward and flashback. And again, I don't want to spoil too much, like that's why I can't really say an awful lot. Gabriel comes back and he's causing a bit of stir with the locals because he wasn't very popular. From what I can gather, I think he's been accused of murdering someone. So yeah, that's kind of where it goes from there. Like I said, there's a bit of a love triangle, and I quite like a good love triangle. I love the descriptions of like the English countryside, obviously being from England and going to the English countryside. I can relate to a lot of it so far. I quite like the character of Beth so far. I've literally just seen this now. Delia Owens, who's the author of Where the Crawdads Sing, one of my favourite books, has actually rated this evocative and compelling. I don't know what made me want to pick this up actually. I'm trying to think. I think I'd seen stuff on booktube. I think actually I did. Now I'm thinking about it, it is coming back to me. I think I did listen to a podcast where this author was being interviewed about this book, and I did check and I had it wrong, by the way. Sorry about this. I think this book actually came out last year, so it came out in 2025 and the paperback's only come out this year. But anyway, it's still relatively recent, isn't it? It's still relatively new. I am intrigued. I'm not feeling DNF yet at all. I quite like it. It's like kind of romantic as well, and I kind of want that. I think I want a bit of romance, but I don't necessarily want smut. I don't know, I like it. So far so good. Hello, it is nearly 8 o'clock in the evening and I've made a little bit more progress of this book. I thought I'd come on here because I have some things to say. As you can see, I'm in bed. This reminds me so much of Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. It reminds me a lot of that book. It's one of my favourite books, and not just because the author has said about this book, saying that she likes it on the back. I don't know if I can see it, that she called it evocative and compelling. It is like the British version of that, because as I said earlier in my clip, this is set in the English countryside. Now we are really getting to know the characters of Beth and Gabriel and Frank, and I have to say Gabriel's pissing me off a little bit because he's a bit of a coward when it comes to standing up to his contemporaries, his peers, his own family, his mum, because he comes from a very privileged and rich background, and Beth is kind of like common. I hate to say that, but like she's kind of like a farm, you know, they live on a farm. He lives in the village, but he's like in this posh house, and they come from very different classes, and this is set in the 60s and round about that time. I'm not sure where the murder is in this, because it was mentioned at the very beginning, and now I don't know where that's gone, but it is very much a romance book, and he's now back in her life again. He's come back because he's got a child now, a young boy, and she started bonding with this child. Now, I don't want to give too much away, that's all I can say, because I feel like if I say anything else, that would be a spoiler. It's written so well. I'm absolutely loving the writing in this. It's beautiful. It's not overdone. It's not simple. It's just, the balance is just right. I think I could probably honestly finish it this evening if I really wanted to. Definitely will finish this by tomorrow, I feel. I'm loving the romance. The romance is beautifully written. It talks a lot about kind of like first loves, and I love that when they're together they can just be themselves. But like I said, Gabriel's pissing me off. She's invited to dinner one day and with all his family, and the mum's not very nice to her. Without spoiling it too much, that's all I'm gonna say. She's a bit snobby basically, and he's not really sticking up for her really, and his kind of excuse for it after, to me personally, isn't good enough. I'm like, you guys tell me, if you've read this book, let me know. I mean, maybe he gets better, I don't know, but I can't help but feel Gabriel was a little bit of a wet lettuce. But I do love their love. I love their relationship, and I have a theory as well. I'm not going to share it because again, that would be a spoiler, but I think I know something. I was so annoyed because I can't spoil it. If you've read it, I'll do it in a very cryptic way. There's something that happens. So in the current timeline, she obviously hangs around with Gabriel and his son. And there's kind of a reason why she does that, because of something that happened to her. I think if you know, you know. And I think that thing that happened to her is linked with Gabriel, and that's all I can say. I think I know it. I think I know what's happening here. I think I could be completely wrong. Yeah, I'm hooked. I am. Yeah, I'm loving this. I just thought I'd come in and say that because I feel like this book is going to make me cry. I feel like it's definitely going to be a tearjerker. Main character Beth, I do relate to her a little bit so far. Like I said, so far she is quite an academic, and I love that it talks a little bit about social class. She's thinking of going to uni because even though she's not, you know, traditionally all this stuff, and she doesn't come from particularly affluent background, privileged background, she's very academic. Her and her family read all the time. She knows all it. She loves poetry. You know, she's very academic, which isn't like me, by the way, but she has a love for reading. She has a love for literature, which I do. It's interesting because she wants to go, like, he's going to Oxford, Gabriel, and it's kind of how they end up not really, you know, again, I don't want to say too much, but you can kind of see how their relationship is kind of veering off a bit. She's finding it hard as a woman, because obviously you've got to think back then as well. This is, I think this is set not long after the war, actually. When it goes back to the 60s, that's when it's present day, as in like this is the current timeline, if that makes sense. But when, I think that's right, and when they go back in the past, it must be the 50s then? So, but even so, basically any time in the 20th century, really, let's be honest, it was harder for women to get into uni, especially like 50s, 60s, that kind of era. And she wants to go to like one of the good schools like he's going to Oxford. I think this is going to be a 5-star for me. I actually do. I'm feeling like this, I think I'm gonna have to reread this already. I'm getting that, and I'm getting the 5-star feeling. I'm so glad actually I did this. I'm so glad, because the last few books I've read have been 3 stars or less. I feel like me mood reading is really helping me with my reading slump, which sounds so obvious. Like, obviously it would, wouldn't it? Hello, I thought I would come on to update the vlog. It is Wednesday evening. I last talked to you yesterday, but I do have an update. Oh, I probably should say, if you're wondering why I look like this, I've got my pajamas on. I've been for my run and I've had a shower, so this is why I look like this. But I do have an update. I have read a little bit more of Broken Country, but not enough to really update you, other than just to say I'm still loving it. I love it so much that I want to quickly do this update so I can go back and read it. And I have to say as well, something I'm really loving. Sorry, I was going to update you about something else, and I'm like getting carried away by this book. What I love about Broken Country as well is that, like I said in earlier clips, there is a romance. There is like steamy scenes, I will say that. To me, spicy scenes are different to steamy scenes. Spicy, I feel, is a bit more, like it's a little bit more explicit, I think. Whereas the steamy scenes in here, there are scenes, but they're not like explicit, if that makes sense. It's really beautifully done. Anyway, because I could just sit here just gushing about this book. So I went into the works today, you may have seen it from an earlier clip, because I wanted to buy the latest book that's been released. I think it was actually last week, but it is the one, I don't know if you'll see it up there, I've got it up here. I read the Dream Harbour series. This is the latest book. It's called The Daisychainflowershop by Laurie Gilmore, and I had to get this edition in the works because it has beautiful sprayed edges. If you don't know already, I absolutely love this series. It's just comfy. It's a comfy, cozy read. She's kind of like, Laurie Gilmore is kind of like the queen of this. Really happy with this edition. It's an exclusive edition from the works, and I am a bit of a sucker for a spread, and it's only £5, so you know, it's not too bad. And I love this front cover. It's got, God, it's going to be a little puppy. There's a a lab or golden retriever puppy? Oh my God. I love it. There's always like a little kind of, they always have like one pet. I am planning hopefully to read this after Broken Country. But yeah, I think I always end up giving them about 4 stars. I don't think I'd give one of them 5 stars. They're just what it says on the tin. It's just a comfy read. You can read them as standalones. I personally wouldn't. I don't like reading them, even if they're like, oh, you can read them as standalones. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer still reading them in order, because I'm a bit like that. I try and make it a thing every year where I try and read them with the seasons, if that makes sense, because I think there's like other spring ones as well. I'm gonna try and remove this sticker actually. Wish me luck. Look at that. Look how easy that was. Look how easy that was to remove. Oh, thank God. I had to get it because, like I said, it's exclusive to the works. It's relatively cheap, so I'm happy with that. But I also got, and I haven't done this in a while actually, they do an offer which I'm sure if you're from the UK, you know what it is. 3 for £7.50. I don't normally get stuff in that section because there's not normally stuff I want, but something did caught my eye. And then you know how it goes, you have to buy two. And then it's always the same way. I always see two I really like, and then I'm really struggling to find another one, but I want to complete the deal. Otherwise, I'm paying like £9 instead of £7.50, which, you know, it's not a great discount, but it's not. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you. This is the one that caught my eye first, and it's called, and you can't see it because it's got a great big sticker there. I probably should have removed that, but wow. It says, I Don't Like Mondays by N. Lee Hunt, and it says the true story behind America's first modern school shooting. And this was something that happened in the 70s. I just thought, that sounds really interesting. This wasn't on my TBR, but now it is, because it just caught my eye. And I do like, this is obviously a non-fiction, I do like things about things I've never heard about, if that makes sense. I know, unfortunately, school shootings are a big thing in America, but I never heard about this one. So I was like, oh, and it's, you know, she looks like a woman, and I don't know, it just sounded really interesting. What happened on January the 29th, 1979 wasn't a crime of passion. This was something new. A child shooting children she didn't know from her home across the street for no reason that made sense. So yeah, this is in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, I just thought that sounded absolutely fascinating, but it hasn't had great reviews. But we'll see, we will see. I think people just said it's a bit boring, so yeah. So obviously part of the deal I then got, and this one, don't, guys, can you guess what it is? If you don't know already, it is an Auschwitz book, because they do a lot of those in the works, and it's called The Stable Boy of Auschwitz by Henry Oster and Dexter Ford. Really like that front cover, actually, it's really nice. I didn't even read what it was about, I just saw it's about Auschwitz. I'm sold. And it's not very long. It's just shy of about 300 pages. It's not very long. It's based on true story. Henry Oster was just 5 years old when Adolf Hitler took power in 1933. One of the 2,011 Jews who were rounded up by the Gestapo and deported from Cologne. He was one of only 23 to emerge alive from the concentration camps after the war. Okay, and then it goes on. I won't read the whole thing. It sounds very much like another book I read, which I'll put here. It's called The Daughter of Auschwitz, which I love that book. I absolutely love that book. So it sounds similar to that. I'm wondering, like, he's obviously a stable boy. And maybe this is, I'm sorry if this sounds really thick of me, but I'm just going to say it. I didn't realise they had horses in Auschwitz. So I'm actually really intrigued by that. So yeah, that caught my eye. We have the 30 before 30. Wait, have I said that right? That's a bit of a tongue twister. The 30 before 30. Oh, sorry, the 30 before 30 list by Tasneem Abdur Rashid. Sorry, I have to read it like that because I can't, obviously, because of the sticker. It's a little bit thick, actually, but I got this. I wasn't sure about this, but I thought, you know what? I did see this before, but I hadn't picked it up. But I was like, I'm going to give it a go because I haven't said this yet on my channel, but I am hopefully, that's why I haven't really said it because I don't know if I'm going to definitely do it yet, but I'm hoping in July, because I turned 30 this year in July, I'm hoping to do a reading challenge of reading 30 books in 30 days. So I'm hoping this, I think this will be a good one for it because it sounds like, I'll read a little bit of it. Maya's life is safe, predictable, quiet. She spent her days at the same job she's been at for years. Her evenings watching Bollywood movies with her parents and her Saturday nights eating at the same restaurant with her childhood best friend. When Maya meets Noah on the underground for 20 glorious minutes, her life becomes exciting until he jumps off the train, accidentally leaving behind a notebook containing a list of 30 things he wants to do before he turns 30. It sounds like a very coming of age thing, obviously, it's a romance. It's quite diverse, which we love to see. I'll give it a go. Like, why not? It's all about turning 30. It might be cute. Like I said, it's diverse. It's not just white straight people. So, well, I mean, they are straight, but I presume they are. I don't know. I just thought, let's just give it a go. Talking about straightness. This book, there are gay characters in this, but they're minor characters. They're very much background characters. And I think I said in one of my vlogs, and I read it when I read another Dream Harbour book, I think it was in my December vlog actually, because I read one of the Christmas ones. I can't remember what it was that had just come out. I remember reading it and being like, it's good, but I need some gayness now. Like, I was bored, like, because they're in a town and obviously, you know, there's going to be gay people in a town. It's just going to happen. And there was a gay couple, kind of, it's hinted at. And I'm like, can we just have that story? Because actually, not only that, it did genuinely sound interesting. And I don't want to sound like I'm just saying that, oh, for the novelty. I genuinely want gay rep because it's cute, it makes sense, it's more realistic than just straight couples all the time. So I have said, Laurie Gilmore, I request please some gay rep in your next books. Come on, don't be shy, let's do it. What the hell am I going on about? Anyway, I'm going to put these on my shelf and then I'm going to read the rest of Broken Country, and hopefully the next time you see me I'll be saying 5 stars. Hello, it is Friday afternoon and I thought I would update the vlog. So I didn't update you yesterday. I wasn't feeling too great yesterday. I had to leave work yesterday afternoon because I think I had flu. I felt awful yesterday. Didn't read, didn't want to get out of bed. In fact, I didn't get out of bed just to go to the toilet, and that was it. So yeah, I didn't read any of Broken Country. However, today I have finished, so I will talk to you about this. Sorry, by the way, I'm still not feeling 100%. I'm like, I'd say I'm about 90%, but I still don't feel 100%. So sorry if I seem a bit out of it. I just still don't feel right. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm okay, I'm well enough. I'm back at work today. I'm well enough to work, but I just don't feel 100%. Do you know what I mean? Like I know I'm not me. I don't feel fully me. I ended up giving this 4 stars, but it's a very high 4 stars. I loved the writing in this. I loved the story. I loved, well, maybe not loved the characters, but I loved the characters for being morally grey, if that makes sense. What I had an issue with, and this, I appreciate this is very much a me thing, possibly, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it does say it in the blurb. Well, it heavily hints at it, heavily implies it, let's just say that. But there is a affair trope in this. I don't even know if you can call it affair trope. Trope, is that a thing? An affair trope? I'm going to call it that. There's an affair that happens in here. Now, it is kind of a love triangle, so I guess that's maybe somewhat expected, but love triangles don't always have to be affairs. I didn't like that. I know at the beginning of my earlier clips, I was like, I love Beth. She's so good. She's so relatable. Yeah, no, I've changed my mind. I don't like her character, and I don't like Gabriel. I didn't like that side and that aspect of things. I did guess what happened. Again, I can't say because that's a massive spoiler, but I guessed what happened. I guessed who was responsible in terms of this murder that happened. I think the last kind of 80% was a little bit predictable. And like I said, I didn't like the whole affair thing. Like, I don't like that in books. I don't like it in movies, TV. I don't like it in real life. I just don't like things about affairs. I can kind of get on board with it if they're having an affair because the person they're with is abusive in whatever way. I can maybe get on board with it then. But when it's just like, this person would live, breathe and die for you and you're still having an affair, no, I struggle with that. So yeah, this is called Broken Country because all of the characters are broken. Like, let's just say that. They've all got their own issues. It reminds me a little bit of kind of a modern, although it's not set in modern day, but almost like a modern day version of Wuthering Heights. Like, it's got those kind of tropes almost, and it's got that kind of I don't know, it does remind me ever so slightly of that. I think if you've read Wuthering Heights or you know about it, you'll know what I mean if you've read this. At least I think you will. I think I had to give it just a very high 4 star. Like I said, I guessed what happened really. I just can't give it a 5 star because of the last 80%. And like I said, it had a trope in there which I don't like. It was not a bad book though. A 4 star from me is still really good. Like I said, it's a high 4 star. I do want to read more from this author, and I did hear that this is getting an adaptation. I think Reese Witherspoon has picked it up. I don't know if it's going to be, I presume it'll be a film or TV series or something like that, which I would be interested in seeing actually. I think I will keep it in my collection for now, just because if the adaptation does come out, I want to be able to reread it before. All I will say is it's not for everyone. If you need a lot of action and plot in your books, then you're not going to really like this. But if you're like me and you're more character heavy and you like a bit of mystery, you like a bit of drama, yeah, you'll probably get on board with this, and you like good writing. I can see why maybe this isn't for everyone, let's just put it that way. Not everyone's going to like this. It's just the love affair thing. I can't get on board with it, and I really struggle with that. I still had a really good time with this. Like, I really enjoyed it. This is going to be my next book that I'm going to read. I'm quite excited to read this. You know, like I said, it's got these lovely, beautiful spreads, and it feels kind of summery and springy. And this tells the story of Daisy and Elliot. I predict a 4 star, as usual with these books. I need to double check, but I don't think I've gave any of them 5 stars yet. But we'll see. I hope it is a 5 star. I mean, you know, that would be nice, but I doubt it somehow because, yeah, the writing's not fantastic or anything. We're going into the weekend after today. So tomorrow, I am going to somewhere called RHS Malvern Show. Now, for those of you that live in the UK, you may have heard of it, but if not, or you may not have, I'll just tell you anyway. It is what it says on the tin, really. It's a garden show. It's obviously in Malvern, and it's a garden show, but it also has loads of houseplants, which, fun fact about me is that I love houseplants. Apart from reading, that's like my next kind of interest, hobby, I don't know what you want to call it. I love houseplants. I don't have a huge amount in my collection, but I have a fair bit, and I always hope to get more, so I'm going to go there, and really I'm only going for that. Now obviously it's a garden show as well, so there's lots of stuff about gardening and plants and just all that kind of stuff. I've never been before. I'm a little bit worried though, because also I'm not feeling 100%, and we've already bought these tickets, and as far as I know they're non-refundable. So I'm like, oh, I really hope if I don't go I can get my money back, but hopefully it should be fine. I was going to do a whole separate video vlog on that, but then I thought, well, this is mostly a book channel, so I'm just going to incorporate it in here, and I'll let you guys know how I think and feel about it in this vlog. But if you are interested in me doing separate videos similar to that, then let me know. About just under an hour away in the car, because we don't live too far from there, so yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm not a massive gardening person. We do have a garden, we do maintain it somewhat. We have put some flowers and shrubs and all the rest of it out there, but I'm not a massive gardener. I do it enough to make it look semi-decent, do you know what I mean? But I don't really like gardening all that much. I'm definitely more of a houseplant person. I just think, yeah, I think having a garden is too much maintenance, personally, I find, and I just don't have the time, energy or money to really maintain it. But I'm not going to go too much into it, because obviously this is a book channel, but if you're not interested, then feel free to skip ahead. And I thought I would show you two parcels that I've got. One is a bookish thing, one is a non-bookish thing. So I'll start with the first one I got. So this is a graphic novel. I think it's My Life is Strange one. If you didn't know, I think I did it in my wrap up. I think it's this one. You know when you order so much offline? Oh no, it's not. I lied. It's the 30 Days of Night. Well, technically it's the second book. So this is 30 Days of Night, Dark Days. This is a second graphic novel. I think I've got the first one here. So that's the first one. That's the second one. Oh, right. That's great. Look, I didn't know it was like that. I mean, it is secondhand. Fair enough. Okay, that's not great condition, but it was cheap. So what can I say? But it has got a free bookmark. Oh, you can see that. So yeah, I got that from Better World Books. There we go. This series is about vampires. I know, I always say, look, I don't like supernatural stuff, but I do like vampire stuff. That's kind of the only thing I kind of can get on board with. There's a movie that's been made, adapted from the first graphic novel, and I didn't realise there's a whole series. So I just want to carry it on. I don't know about you guys, but with graphic novels, I have to have physical copies, because like, it's not the same, I don't think, reading it on Kindle. I mean, I've never done it, but I just don't think it would be the same, especially as my Kindle's black and white. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Feel free to skip ahead if you're not interested, because it's about some shoes I bought. So this is from, at least I hope it is, I hope that's what's in here. This is from Crocs, the shoe company Crocs, which I find it really interesting, by the way, because when I was a teenager and in my early 20s and stuff, they were seen as like really uncool, but nowadays they're really cool to have a pair of Crocs. So how fashion changes, right? But it isn't those type of Crocs, if that's what you're thinking of. So anyway, I'm just whittering on. Let's show you what it is. Getaway Strappy. There we go. That's what they look like. I bet I'll try them on later just to make sure they fit. What it is, I want some decent sandals for when I go away, because we're going to Cyprus in July. I still need to get loads of other holiday stuff, and I just wanted to get some nice sandals. So I think they look quite nice. I didn't want it to be like overdone. I just wanted some kind of practical but kind of nice, like not over the top, and also some good quality ones, because sometimes these kind of things aren't always good quality. I'm quite happy with them. Like I said, I'll need to try them on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, with it being spring now, this will be a good book to read, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll let you guys know how I feel. I was thinking, like, shall I read this or shall I wait, because obviously I'm doing a vlog, and you may not, you know, this is technically part of a series, but I was like, well, you can technically read them as standalone. So but yeah, I'm gonna talk to you when I have an update for you. About to start reading this book, and I realised at the start they have a playlist. Laura Gilmore always does a playlist to go with it, so I thought we'd have a look and judge them, because I usually do that on my vlog if there is sorry again, I have to apologise. I don't feel too great, so my voice is a bit weird, but we'll look at the playlist and judge it. Judge it out of 10. Off the bat already, there's Taylor Swift songs, and if you know, I don't like Taylor Swift. This author's clearly a Swiftie. We've got Daisies by Justin Bieber. Also don't like Justin Bieber, but never heard that song. And can we just talk about Daisies? I think this author literally just Googles on Spotify or whatever, Daisies, because obviously the book of the title, like, ugh. That Way by Tate McRae. I have heard of Tate McRae, but don't know that song. I feel like a lot of these songs I'm going to talk about I've heard like through TikTok. I'm at that age now where I don't care or know the latest songs, so I'm like, I have no idea for most of these. Golden by Harry Styles. Don't like Harry Styles. I think I do know that song though. Feel Something by Clyro. Think I've heard that. Wood by Taylor Swift. No. Vodka Cranberry by Conan Gray. Nope. I have heard of Code Grey. I've actually heard so far most of these artists. Good Night and Go by Ariana Grande. Nope, not a fan of her. Already Over by Sabrina Carpenter. Nope. Yay, guys! We have one Lana, well, at least so far that I can see. Lana Del Rey, National Anthem. I'm a huge Lana stan. Think He Knows by Taylor Swift. No. We Never Dated by Somber. No, Somber? Nope, never heard of them. Risk by Gracie Abrams. Heard of her, don't know the song. Spring Into Summer by Lizzie McAlpine. Nope, heard of her though. Look at That Woman by Role Model. Nope. Paper Rings by Taylor Swift. Nope. Satellite by Harry Styles. Nope. Rein Me In by Sam Fender. Nope. House Tour by Sabrina Carpenter. Nope. So Easy, Olivia Dean. Nope. The Fate of Ophelia by Taylor Swift. Nope. Undressed by Somber. Nope. Accidentally in Love, Counting Crows. Yes. I know that through Shrek. I think everyone does. Lover by Taylor Swift. Nope. So how many Taylor Swift songs? 5 Taylor Swift songs and only 1 Lana Del Rey song. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, look, that's a shit playlist. What's the best one that she's had so far? I think it was it one of the Christmas ones? I can't remember. Awful list. Awful. I mean, I'm sorry guys if you're a fan of any of those artists or songs, but honestly, I've seen 1 song, maybe 2 actually, that I like from there. So, I mean, it has Lana Del Rey, but National Anthem, I can't see how that fits into this book. But what would I rate that out of 10? Honestly, about 5, and that's generous. But really only because of those 2 songs. The rest of them I either don't know or don't care for. So there we go. Anyway, I thought I'd just do that because I find that fun when she does her little playlists, and they're usually pretty awful. Honestly, I think I could do a better place. Also, like, I don't know if it's me. I mean, I don't know because I haven't read this yet, so fair enough. This is obviously given vibes of like spring, summertime, and I'm thinking like, when I think of spring, I don't know about you guys, or summer, I think of like 70s songs and like the peace songs, and I don't know, I feel like that would fit into this really well, but no, she has to go with Taylor Swift. Okay, but anyway, I shall tell you how I feel. I'm going to start it. I'm on my break now, so I'm going to start a little bit of it and then we'll go from there. Hello, it's been about an hour since we've come back from the RHS Malvern show. It was really good. I loved it. It was beautiful weather. I would highly recommend you go. Even if you're not all that into gardening, plants, house plants, I would still recommend you go because it had so much more there. There was lots of food stalls there, so if you're a big foodie, there's that. They had clothes, they had some antiques, they had like homeware stuff. There was so much there. My little haul, I didn't get like a huge amount, to be honest. Andy got me a, I don't know what you call it, I don't know what you call it, but it's basically like those things that hang plants. I don't know what they're called. A plant hanger, because eventually we are going to get round to doing like having them from the ceiling kind of thing, but it's not really from the ceiling, it's hard to explain. But yeah, I will show you a picture here of what it looks like. It's a rope kind of design. Oh my god, I'm not explaining this very well, sorry, I'm really tired, I didn't get much sleep last night. So that cost about 30 quid along with the basket. I think it was cheaper without the basket, but Andy treated me, so I was like, okay, I'll take that as well. I'm not sure what plant I'm going to put in there yet, but it will definitely be of use to me someday, I know that. I'll put the company's, whatever, the company I bought it from here somewhere, I can't remember where I got it from. And then I bought, I think what is, again, I'll put a video or a clip or a picture here, a pink princess philodendria, I think that's right. And I don't know what shop I got that from. They're all independent sellers. The other one I got, because I was looking for a carnivorous plant because I have a lot of fungus gnats. When you have houseplants, it's almost inevitable that you will get some sort of bugs. They're harmless, they don't harm humans at all or pets, but they're just annoying. They're tiny little flies and they're really annoying. I have loads of stuff to get rid of them, but they're just something you accept as a plant owner. It's just something that comes with it. But anyway, they eat them, they eat any kind of insect. So I got one of, I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? I can't remember. I'll put it here somewhere with the picture. That's what I got for plant wise, and obviously that plant accessory. Oh, and I also got before I forget, I think for the garden, because every summer we try and, we plant, well, we don't plant them in the summer, we plant them in the spring. But anyway, we have wildflowers for the bumblebees and insects and things like that. Butterflies as well, I think it is. So I put like a little drinking station for the bees around the wildflowers. Eventually the wildflowers will grow, yeah, and all the rest of it. And it's like I put a few little rocks in it, and you put a bit of water, and then bees and other insects can get on there and drink water. So yeah, I got that as well, and that was about £10, I think. I can't remember how much the plants cost. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember. It wasn't like massively busy. I mean, it was a Saturday, obviously, as I'm filming this, it was a Saturday. We arrived about 10 o'clock. So like I said, it's not too far from where we live. And we left around about 2 o'clock. So we spent up a good 4 hours. I could have spent longer there. I don't think we really saw everything. But by that point, I was getting very tired. You know, it's quite warm out there today. I don't know if you can see I've got a bit of sunburn. If you do have any questions, then let me know down below in the comments and I'll try and answer as best as I can. Would I go again? Yeah, I would. I heard someone say, who's been before, that once you've been to one of those kind of garden places, you kind of been to them all. So I don't know. I definitely want to try the autumn one. I think that could be quite nice because they do an autumn one. I don't know how that differs, but I think that'd be interesting. Paid about, I think it was about it was around about £32 each, I want to say. It comes to about 60 quid altogether for 2 adult tickets, and that was very just standard tickets. And I think personally they're worth it. It's great, it's brilliant, but it's a lot. Parking was good. It was really well organised. It's really spaced out. I mean, there are points where it does get a bit busy, especially in what's called the flower marquee tent. That gets really busy. It's really hot in there as well. But yeah, I don't have a reading update, unfortunately. I haven't read any more. Actually, that's a lie. I did actually read a little bit of it last night. Not a lot. Not enough to really comment on at the moment, other than it seems to be fake dating. There's 2 characters of Elliot and why can't I remember the FMC's name? Oh, Daisy. Oh, Daisy, duh. Oh, it's coming back to me now. So she's called Daisy, and she said it's kind of like inherited business. So like her mum ran the shop, who was called Daisy, then her mum ran the shop because they all were called Daisy, and I was like, you being serious? Are you being serious? I said this before and I'll say it again. If you go into these books taking it seriously, that's on you. That is on you, because this book does not take itself seriously. The author has more or less said this to people time and time again. It's not to be taken seriously. It's just a fun, cozy, cute book. And that's something I will keep saying. I keep reminding myself. But yeah, I thought I was kind of dumb, but I was like, I have to remember what kind of book this is. Otherwise, there's not really much to say. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more reading, so I shall update you then. Sunday morning. I'm a little bit cold today. It's actually not as warm as it was yesterday. I am feeling a lot better today. I've got a bit of a blocked sinuses though, so sorry if I sound a bit weird. The middle part of this week, from like Wednesday onwards, I just haven't been feeling great, like not 100%. Yesterday was better. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about my health in here because, to be honest, who cares? It's a bit boring. But anyway, I have been reading a bit more of this book. By the way, sorry if my camera's a bit shaky. I've not really got it professionally up, if that makes sense. So just kind of like leaning on my knees kind of thing. Leaning on my legs, I should say. I just reached just over 20%. I have some thoughts. And I think I did mention this in my earlier clip. I'm not really liking it so far. I don't hate it, I just don't love it. And I think it's because it's got a trope in here that I just don't like, but it has fake dating, and I'm just not a fan of that. I hate it. Actually, if I'm being honest, I just think it's a dumb trope. If you love that trope, then that's great, good for you. I love that for you. I personally don't like that trope, and I don't like it because I just think it doesn't really make sense, especially if it's set in modern day. Daisy and Elliot are fake dating, and that's kind of where it goes from there. I don't know if that's a spoiler maybe, but I think this has been marketed when it lists the tropes, and it does say it's got fake dating. So that's a kind of whole other video and debate, like, is tropes actually spoilers? I don't know. Some people like that to know. Personally, I don't think they are, because I like to know roughly what's in a book, because I know I don't like certain tropes, and this is one of them. It does depend though, because if a book is set in kind of, I don't know, maybe medieval times, or like, not that I tend to read a lot of those, if at all, or like, you know, a time where women didn't have as many rights as they do now, I can kind of get on board with it because it makes more sense. I know that dating wasn't really a thing as such, but like courting, you know, like that kind of thing, or fake marriages, all that kind of thing, it makes more sense because women back then had to kind of be in marriages to be financially supported by their husbands, that kind of thing. So I do kind of get that. But in like modern day, I just don't think there's really any need for fake dating, especially with like non-religious couples, because as far as I know, this couple isn't religious. So maybe in like a religious setting, okay, fine. I again kind of get that. I'm struggling with it because Daisy owns her own flower business shop, right? She owns the Daisy Chain Flower Shop. The whole thing is that her business is kind of failing because she's only really at the moment doing funeral flowers, and people in the town aren't really buying her, like requesting for her wedding bouquets and just, you know, general bouquets, because they believe her to be cursed because she's been very unlucky in love. Not really her fault. And I don't know, I just think the townspeople I know it's meant to be small town and all this. She's an independent woman. Why would you blame her? I feel like we're living in medieval times for this. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. I think it's kind of silly. I don't know, maybe I'm deep in this way too much. And I know in my early clip I was like, don't take this seriously, don't take it seriously. Maybe I'm taking this too seriously. I don't know. You guys, you tell me if you've read this. You tell me. If you love fake dating, you tell me off. Like, fair enough. There's a whole thing in their community where like, oh, everyone helps each other out, and like they all support their local businesses, you know, as you should when you can. Obviously, I know it's, you know, some people can't, and that's fine. But you know, all the rest of it, I'm all for that. I love that. This is what I don't understand, because they're like boycotting her business, kind of not necessarily intentionally, because they believe her and the business to be cursed just because she's unlucky in love and she's basically a single woman. Grow up. Grow the up. Maybe it's because I've never lived in like a small town. I don't know. Like, I live in a very suburban area in the southwest of England. I'm not American in a small town. So, you know, for those of you that do live in these kind of small towns, maybe this is a thing. I don't know. Maybe this is very accurate. But even so, regardless, this is irrelevant, because even so, it's problematic as if you love fake dating, you'll probably absolutely love this. But for me personally, and you love cozy reading, by the way, because that's quite important. But me, I'm like, I just don't, honestly, I have a big problem with it. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if I like Daisy. But Elliot's like, oh, she's so strong and feisty. I'm like, is she? Because he's like, oh, she doesn't take any crap at like town meetings, and like she'll stand up for herself. Does she? Because I don't hear her speaking up for herself. And fair enough, maybe she does feel a bit intimidated, but like, they're all kind of like, oh yeah, we're not going to really use your business because, no offence, you're a bit unlucky in love and we think you're cursed. And I don't hear her fighting back, really. She's just like, well, no. And then that's all she really says. And if I was her, I'd be like, look, you guys need to grow up. Like, at the end of the day, go touch some grass. Go touch some moss. That's how bad the situation. Not even grass, you need moss. You need you need the swamp. I am curious, though, to see how this will end. Because, I mean, obviously they're going to be together. I mean, come on. Like, that spoiler maybe, but I feel like that's so obvious in these type of books. Do you know what? If she isn't, actually, I'll be very surprised if they don't end up. I will actually be surprised. I love how I'm just flicking through this to the end to just see, oh, 10 years later. 10 years? Oh, 20 years later. Oh god, I just saw the epilogue and it said 20 years later. Sorry, spoiler. Oh my god, that's actually quite 20 years later. Oh my god. What the hell is 20 years later? Okay, now I'm actually intrigued. Something I forgot to mention as well. The author, I was listening to a book podcast that I listened to the other day. I'll put it here somewhere. I can't remember the name of it now. She is a British podcaster and she interviews a lot of authors and people in like the book publishing industry. It's really good. I do recommend it if you're into your podcasts and stuff. And she interviewed Laurie Gilmore, the author, because she's got this book coming out. And she said that in the UK, like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe book, which is the first book, by the way, did really, really, really well, like really well in the UK. And then slowly America then, because obviously she is American, it then followed suit, and then obviously some worldwide as well. But it's great. She said, but I don't really get why the British people love these kind of books so much. And I was like, I know. As a British person, I think I know anyway. Obviously, I don't know. But I have a theory. So these are set in New England in America. The area to us, anyway, to us British people, to us Europeans, we always like looking at the kind of autumn New England aesthetic. Like, I know in America, autumn or fall, as they call it, is a big deal over there. Like, they have Halloween. It's just like a big thing over there, especially in those kind of states, like, is it New England, whatever, those kind of areas especially. So we love that, because here in the UK we don't really make a big deal of autumn or Halloween. Like, we do celebrate it, it is a thing. I mean, it's technically a pagan holiday, like, you know, Halloween's technically British, it's technically pagan, blah blah blah, but like, we've never really made a big deal out of it over here. Like, it's getting bigger because of like the whole American influence. I don't know why I'm going to this whole thing about it, but I think I know. And I was like, Laurie, I know. That's what I'm trying to get onto. My point is that, and I think that in the UK we watch Gilmore Girls, obviously not everyone, you know, but like, we love the kind of whole aesthetic basically. So I think that's why it does well over here. We love the kind of cozy autumn aesthetics. We don't tend to really do a big thing of it over here in the UK. It just rains a lot in the UK. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. It rains a lot. So we don't really have a lot of like that kind of nice, like, you know, I mean, obviously not all the time, but yeah, anyway, my point is, I think that's why. Anyway, she sounded lovely. Like, she genuinely seems like a lovely, lovely person. I'd love to meet her because she genuinely seems like a lovely person. I've got nothing against the author at all. I never do. It's very rare I hate authors, even if I don't like their books. Like, that's kind of, I mean, some authors kind of deserve it, and we know who, you know, we know who. You know, she did talk a lot about this book, and that she's got this other book coming out, and it's actually in the preview of this. Well, it's not a preview, but she's got a book coming out, Big Bad Wolf, and it's coming out in September this year, so September 2026. So it says, Ruby Balrose lives on the edge of the woods in a cottage more akin to a fairy tale than modern day life. Her love life is basically non-existent, and she keeps away from the whispered gossip that travels through Maple Hollow until a chance encounter with Rafe. As mysterious as he is brooding, Ruby is drawn to the woodsman, curious to find out more about the stranger who lives deep within the woods. But Rafe is hiding a secret, and with something lurking in the shadowy forest, will Ruby find that Rafe is her knight in shining armour, or something altogether more dangerous? Book 1 in the Maple Hollow trilogy is available to pre-order in paperback, ebook and audio now. I'm not sure what that sounds like, actually. Would I want to read that? I think I would, you know. It is, yeah. It is intriguing me. I can't lie. I don't know if I'll pre-order. I don't know. I've never really pre-ordered books, actually. Let's talk about that quickly. I'll talk about it very briefly. I know a lot of book people I watch in the book community, they love pre-ordering. I've never really done that because I think one of the big reasons is I don't do hardbacks. I can't get on with them, generally speaking. I will if I absolutely have to read a book and, you know, someone gifts it me or whatever, like, I will then. I'm not that bad, but like, I just don't really like hardbacks. Obviously, a lot of books that come out first, they come out in hardback. So luckily I have a Kindle, so I can read it on my Kindle. If I do really want a physical copy, I wait till the paperback comes out. So that's one of the reasons I don't like to usually pre-order books. Secondly, as much as I love reading, I love books and stories and all the rest of it, I just don't think I've ever felt the need to do it. Like, I can just always go to my supermarket and buy it. Apparently it is good because it supports the author and all the rest of it, and I do get that, but I've just never felt the need to do it. There's never been a book that I've been that, I always think, oh, I can wait. I just find that interesting because I know so many people are like, I need to pre-order that. But what I find interesting about these books, at least as far as I'm aware, they always come back out in paperback first. Why is that? Does anybody know? Seriously, I am genuinely curious. Please let me know in the comments because I don't know why that is. They have said in this book that these characters are in their early 30s. I think they're around about 32, 34, right? Around about that age. And they are acting like they're in secondary school. You're 32 or 34, around about there. You're a 30-something old adult and you're acting like you need to fake date. Like, if you're in your 20s, early 20s, maybe even late teens, I think, okay, that's kind of cute. You're in your 30s, you're a 32-year-old man, grow up. And also, like, sorry, Elliot's a divorcee, right? He's just recently got divorced. He's been divorced for about 2 years. You don't need to be doing that. 32 or 34, I can't remember. Let's just call it 32. It's not that much difference, is it? 32-year-old man wanting to fake date. To save this woman because people won't buy from her shop because she's cursed in love. Sorry, is she a witch? Are we living in the medieval times? Like, I don't know, guys. Like, you tell me, seriously, am I wrong for this? But yeah, we'll see how it goes and I shall update you then. I have literally just finished this book. I have very fresh thoughts about this and I'm going to talk about it. Maybe you would have guessed this, but it is a 2-star and it's my lowest rated so far in this series. I did not really like this and I was debating a 3-star because a 3-star from me, if you don't already know, is just very average. But I gotta be honest, I didn't like a lot of this. At the end, I can't obviously say what happens too much, but there is an epilogue and I think I mentioned it in my earlier clip, but it goes 20 years later. It's one of those. So I was really confused. I was like, oh, I don't think, and I could be wrong here, but I don't think the author's ever done an epilogue so far in the future, maybe like a couple of months, but not 20 years later. Because normally how this works is that the next book is usually focuses on another couple from the town. It swaps couples. So I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I like that. Now, I've said it before on my channel, and I'll say it again. I need more gay rep in here. Now, there are gay characters, there are gay couples. I am bored of the straight couples in here. Like, I am a straight person, right? Unfortunately, I am. And we need gay couples in here. Like, there are gay couples, kind of. But it's like, can we have that for the next installment, please? Like, can you do that? Like, please. There are kind of gay relationships going on in the background and I was more interested in their stories. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because some of you might be new here. I'm not just saying that for like the novelty of like a gay couple, okay? I'm not that person. It's just genuinely it makes sense, you know, if you live in even a small town, you're gonna have gay couples, you're gonna have gay people. So like that to me is more realistic than just all these straight couples. My favourite so far from the series is definitely, and I'll put them up here, the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. That was Single Dad, I think it was. I really enjoyed that. And the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, although I will admit it's not the best written one, it's probably the least well-written one. I think they're my favourite. Oh, and the Christmas Tree Farm. Those are like my 3 favourites. The rest were just, I think, 3 or 4 stars. Yeah, this is the lowest one. This and Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is my least favourite, but I think even this one over this, because not only that, this was just kind of boring. It's set in springtime and it goes into kind of summer. It wasn't that big on the spring descriptions. Like, look, I've tabbed it where there was. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe about 5 springish descriptions. I didn't feel very springy. I wanted to feel the spring vibe. Normally this author's really good at hitting you with it on every page, especially I find her Christmas book, she's very good at that. If you love fake dating trope, if that's like your thing, I know you'll probably like this, and you already like, you know, cozy books, and this is definitely your thing. I don't know if I've mentioned this, I don't think I have, but these are spicy books, by the way. They're not like heavy spice, it's not like explicit, if that makes sense, but it is spicy, like there is spice in it. So, you know, if you don't do spice, if that's not your thing, then yeah, you won't like this. The spice in it also was just a bit, it just wasn't great. It was honestly one of her worst, and I hate to say that because I do like this series. I don't love this series, but I do quite like it enough to like buy the physical copy and reread them. So that says a lot to me, but it's never, I don't think I found one that's 5-star yet, and I don't think I ever will, because for me personally, they're just not that kind of book. And like I said, I know I keep saying like, oh, I'm DNFing now, but the only reason I didn't DNF it was because I like to complete the series, and not only that, but I did want to know, because I plan on carrying the series on. It's not been announced, but I presume there will be another book. I want to know what happened in this book, if that makes sense, but I don't think I'll reread this. I didn't really care about their relationship either. What was their name? Elliot and what was the name? Daisy. I keep forgetting her name, it's literally the title. I didn't really care for her. I didn't, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't care for her. I found her kind of annoying. Towards the end, and obviously I can't spoil it, but there is something that happens where Daisy finds stuff to do with her past, and what I mean by her past is like kind of ancestral stuff. So there's a bit of like stuff going on about the town history and past, and that was fairly interesting, but not enough, not like gripping, but like, okay, it was more like, okay, this author hasn't done this before. It was more like that, like, okay, that's different. Can't say I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was mildly interesting, if that makes sense. I don't know if I make any sense. I liked seeing the other characters, that's always fun, but that was it. I think honestly, maybe it's the fact that it's just fake dating, but I did just look at some reviews on Goodreads, and a lot of people have said the same things that I have, so it could just be that. It could just be that it was just a very dull book. It was almost a little bit insta-lovey as well. And I struggle with that because I'm like, I need a bit of a build up, and I just felt like there was not really much build up between them. Because they were like fake dating, obviously, you know, that trope is that you have to hold hands and be intimate. We don't have to necessarily be intimate in that way, if you know what I mean, but like you have to be intimate in another type of way, which is like holding hands, maybe even kissing each other. So that was already done. So when they were doing it for real, it was a bit like, no, I just didn't feel it. And maybe that's my problem. This is why I don't get on with this trope. But I would be very intrigued. If you have read this, let me know what your thoughts are. I genuinely am intrigued. And I would also like to know what your favourite Dream Harbour book is so far. Like, what is your favourite and what is your least favourite? I'll keep it in my collection for now because it is part of a collection, but I don't know. I don't really want to keep it, but it's just part of my collection. I bought it now. Whatever. How this is going to work now is I've got one more book, I think, for the vlog, and then I'm going to close the vlog. And as I'm mood reading at the moment, I don't know what I fancy. Do you know what? I honestly don't know. I tend to like, if I've done one genre, I tend to want to just do a completely different genre. I'm kind of feeling maybe non-fiction. I don't know. I'll have to have a look because I'm trying to get through my physical TBR. Cue to me with the next clip where I'm like telling you what I've chosen. Hello, it is Monday morning, working from home today. What book did I choose? Death of a Bookseller by Alice Slater. And I didn't realise this, but I've actually got a signed copy. I can't tell you where I got this from. I can't remember. I think it might be an indie bookseller, but I honestly can't remember. It's been on my bookshelf for a very, very long time. So I was like, let's just see what this is about. I'm about 15% through. What it's about and initial thoughts. Let's start that way. It's two POVs. So you've got Roach, that's her name, and Laura. Now they work in a bookshop, and I can't quite tell if it's independent or not, but I don't think it is. I think it's very reminiscent of like Waterstones, if you're American, Barnes and Noble, that kind of thing. And it's failing, it's not doing very well. And Roach, as she's known, she's just a bit alternative, she's a bit different. One day, Laura, who's quite normal, I don't like saying that, but I don't know what to say, like, I guess non-alternative, she starts working there and Roach becomes quite obsessed with her. Roach is also a little bit strange in that, I don't know if strange is quite the right word. Yeah, she's a bit weird. I don't know how I feel about her, to be honest. She is a little bit pretentious because she calls people who aren't like her normies, and I'm like, oh girl, like really, are we doing this? And she is obsessed with true crime. That's her thing. Roach is obsessed. And Laura one day in the kind of staff room mentions that she wrote a poem about murder, but Roach interprets this kind of the wrong way. Like, she thinks that Laura is like her and that she also loves murders and stuff, and Laura keeps saying to her like, no, she sees it from a completely different perspective and lens, whereas Roach is very much interested in that other side of it. Basically, Roach is becoming very obsessed with Laura, and healthily so. I do like it so far. I like the writing, but I did a stupid thing. I shouldn't do this, I know, but I looked on Goodreads because I like to know like what is everyone else thinking. I don't read the reviews, I just look at, you know, there's like that tab, isn't there, and you can just see like, okay, what's like an average rating, and it's been rated like 3-star. Like, it's got very average ratings and average to low ratings, so I was quite surprised because so far I'm really liking this. Yeah, like I said, it's still very early days, but I really do like the writing, and for a debut it is good. It is fairly slow paced at the moment. I'm really curious as to know why people have gave it like 3 stars or less. Roach sees Laura, like, to everyone else she seems quite kind of put together and like quite normal. I hate saying that word, but you know what I mean. And Roach doesn't think that. She thinks that she's quite dark like her, and that's kind of the whole thing, and she's kind of becoming, like I said, quite obsessive and all the rest of it. So it kind of goes from there, and like I said, you get the two POVs, and I do like seeing their different POVs. It's compelling me. I am compelled. I think it might take me a while to get round though, but it has very short chapters. I think from the sound of it, I mean, it says it kind of on the title, Death of a Bookseller. I'm wondering if maybe Roach wants to kill Laura or Laura wants to kill Roach. I'm not sure. Maybe I feel like there's definitely going to be killing going on. There's definitely a lot of stuff going on with Roach, and she's like hinted at quite a traumatic childhood. Probably forgot to say this, it is set in the UK, it's British, and I have to say there's a lot of Britishness in it. Like, I feel like if you're from the UK, you'll get a lot of like references and stuff, if you know what I mean. It's got some Britishisms. I didn't realise the author used to work in Waterstones, so I can tell that she's got a lot of like her inspiration in working at Waterstones. You can tell because it talks a lot about like working in retail, you know, working in that kind of industry. I'm gonna try and reach halfway today. I doubt it though, I doubt it. But it would be nice if I could at least reach halfway and then maybe finish off the vlog at the latest by Wednesday. I think I can do it. Hopefully this will be either a 4 or 5 star. Cue the next clip where I'm like, yeah, I DNF'd this. Hello, it's Tuesday afternoon. I'm on my break at work, so I thought I'd come update you because I have finished Death of a Bookseller. I'm going to tell you my rating and I'm going to tell you what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. What I will just say before I start with that is that I can tell now why I think, I know I said in my earlier clips, why I think that this has got a mid to low rating. I gave this a 3-star, which as you may know by now is very average for me. All the way through, I really thought this was going to be a 4-star maybe. I didn't feel 5-star, just felt it was very slow paced, and I struggle with slow paced books. I personally didn't like that. It was okay in the beginning, but it was just so slow paced, and I also felt like halfway through this book it lost a lot of steam. I don't quite know what genre to class this as. I feel like, and this could just be me, but I feel like this is marketed, I mean the look of this looks to me as if it's like a horror, and I wouldn't say that this is a horror at all, and I think it's just because it has death in the title, it has blood here. It's definitely not horror, at least not in my opinion. I think it is, or it verges more on, was it like weird lit girl fiction, that kind of thing? I think it's definitely more in that genre category. I have read books where the FMC or whoever is weirder, is more out there. I just felt like, although Roach was definitely that alternative, weird, out there girl, who unhinged character basically, although she was portrayed as that, I don't feel like it was enough. Like I feel like the author could have done more with her, but maybe she was worried that she didn't want her to become a caricature. Just as she was about to get more unhinged, I feel like the author scaled back a little bit. I would have really liked her to go all out with Roach being really unhinged. There were moments where she was, but it just wasn't enough for me, in my opinion. Like nothing really happened. A large chunk of the book was her working in this shop, which I don't mind little bits here and there. Some filler here and there I don't have a problem with, but it was a big chunk of this book was them just going out after work for drinks and working in the bookshop. I get it, that's their jobs, but it's like, we don't, as a reader, we don't need to see all of that all the time. You can definitely tell, and I think I said this in my earlier clip, the author used to work in a bookshop. You can definitely see that here. And I feel like if you've ever worked in a bookshop, if you've ever worked in retail, you may relate to this a lot more than maybe what I did. It wasn't boring enough for me to DNF and me give it a lower rating, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but the writing was really good. I really did like the writing. I thought it was beautifully written, and that kind of saved it really to me. And it was compelling just enough to keep me going, and I did genuinely want to know what happened at the end. So that's why it wasn't a DNF for me. That's why it wasn't rated lower, because I was kind of wanting to see what happened. Would I recommend this? Yes, but I wouldn't pay full price. If you can get this discounted, you know, in a charity shop or something like that, then yeah, I wouldn't pay full price for this at a bookshop. But if you happen to stumble across a free copy, then yeah, maybe around Halloween, spooky season, you may enjoy this. I don't know if I'm going to read any more from this author. I haven't really decided. I don't think I will. If I see one of her books in a charity shop, maybe I'll pick it up, but I'm not going to go out of my way. It's one of those, I think. So one of the characters, I think I said this in my earlier clip, Roach, she's obsessed with true crime. Like that's her thing. She loves true crime and she loves reading about it. She watches documentaries on it. She listens to podcasts. Like she is obsessed. Like that is her one thing that she's like obsessed with. She has nothing else really that she's obsessed with apart from that. Without spoiling it too much, Laura is the complete opposite of this. She detests things like that. She hates the kind of sensationalizes you know what I mean, the kind of sensationalized version of true crime and how like people make profit of people's tragedy. You know, she's very against it. And it's interesting that this author did that, because I know this has been a discussion in recent years where it's been like, is consuming true crime media ethical? There's a lot of debate about that in the true crime community, and there's been like that for a few years now. I mean, it's always been a thing, but what I mean is like, it's really being scrutinised at the moment of whether it's really ethical. I used to be really into true crime, not quite obsessed as some people are, but I used to have a mild interest in it. I think when I was younger, definitely teenager, early 20s, I definitely gravitated more towards true crime. Whereas as I'm getting older, I'm like, I don't really care about it as much as I used to. I don't know what that says, but I do feel like the author definitely was exploring that kind of ethical debate, which was interesting. I did actually like that side of it, because it does show of like the two sides of the coin. Like, is it right that people profit off people's misery and tragedy? It talks a lot about obviously serial killers and things, and talked about how a lot of the time the serial killer is remembered but not the victims and their lives. I think there is definitely a way to do it. If you're going to talk about true crime, if you're going to talk about crimes that have been committed that are quite horrific, well, let's be honest, most crimes are horrific, but you know what I mean, the serial killer ones, the real tragic ones, I think there definitely needs to be a way to do it that's sensitive to the victims and their families and things like that. And I think this author does try and talk about that through these characters. And I will say that was interesting, but it did feel a little bit like she went on a little bit about it. It's like, okay, we get it, we get the argument for and against, like I get it, but we can move on now. But it kept kind of bringing it back up. I just felt like it could do with a lot of editing, a little bit more editing, because it is quite a big book. It's nearly 400 pages long, about 380 odd pages, and I just do not think it needed to be that long, especially as most of it was quite repetitive. I don't know what else to say other than really it's just 3 stars. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, oh my god, I'm shouting this from the rooftops. I don't think I'll be keeping this in my collection. I don't think I'll be rereading it. In fact, I know I won't. I don't know why I'm saying I don't think. I know I won't. So that will definitely be going out to be sold on my Vinted or donated to charity. That is the end of the vlog. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely and honestly and genuinely mean that. So thank you so much. Please do leave me a like and or a comment. It really, really, really helps my channel and I really appreciate it. Even if you don't know what to put, just leave me an emoji, heart, whatever. Just, yeah, anything you can. Or if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just like. If you're not already subscribed, please do it. I'd love to have you. Genuinely, I would. So I always get awkward when I have to log off. I never quite know what to say other than thank you so much. If you have read any of the books that I've mentioned, please let me know. That will be it. I shall see you, as always, in the next video.